Assalamu alaikum. This is Shongbad Singh welcoming you all to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. The scrutiny of nomination papers for national posts continues to end tomorrow. As a month-long Dhaka International Trade Fair begins, a paper and packaging products declared a product of the year. Information and Broadcasting Advisor calls on journalists to play a role creating public awareness about referendum and reforms. BNP leaders and activists paid tribute to former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia at her grave. Working people suffer in severe winter in the port city. Diseases like pneumonia, respiratory problems increasing. A U.S. captures Venezuelan President Maduro and his wife as it carries out large-scale strikes against the country. And Rangpur Riders beat Sylhet Titans by 6 wickets in BPL. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. Officials are passing a busy time with the scrutiny of nomination papers ahead of the upcoming 13th National Parliamentary election. Today, nomination papers for 20 constituencies in Dhaka were scrutinized from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A total of 238 candidates have submitted nomination papers in the 20 Dhaka constituencies. The scrutiny of nominations in several Dhaka constituencies has already been completed. The candidates have expressed satisfaction after their nominations were declared valid. In the Dhaka 8 constituency, the nomination papers of National Citizen Party's candidate Nasiruddin Patwari and Gon Adhikar Parishad candidate Meghna Alam were declared valid. Nasiruddin Patwari also criticized the effectiveness of the Election Commission, raising questions about the election environment and the role of the administration. In the Dhaka 9 constituency, the nomination papers of BNP and Jamaat nominated candidates were declared valid, while the nomination paper of independent candidate Tasim Jha was rejected. However, despite the rejection, candidates still have the opportunity to file appeals in accordance with the law. The scrutiny of nomination papers will continue until tomorrow. After that, through the process of appeals, disposal and the publication of the final list of candidates, the contenders will officially enter the election race. Meanwhile, the scrutiny of nomination papers of candidates for the 13th National Parliament election is also continuing in Chattogram. The scrutiny was conducted in the presence of candidates at the Divisional Commissioner's Office and the Deputy Commissioner's Office. Today, the nomination papers of Chattogram 6, 7 and 12 constituencies were scrutinized at the Deputy Commissioner's Office. Out of this, the nomination papers of 18 candidates had been declared valid in these 3 constituencies. On the other hand, the nomination papers of 7 candidates have been declared invalid in 2 constituencies. Out of this, the nomination papers of 3 candidates in Chattogram 7 constituency and 4 candidates in Chattogram 12 constituency were found invalid. During the scrutiny at the Divisional Commissioner's Office, the nomination papers of 9 candidates in Chattogram 4 constituency were found valid and the nomination papers of 1 candidate invalid. The nomination papers of 6 candidates in Chattogram 5 constituency were declared valid. The nomination papers of 4 candidates in this constituency were found invalid. The 13th national parliamentary election just days away. As the election approaches, public expectations echo the aspirations of the July mass uprising calls for justice, rights and meaningful change. Alongside heightened political activities on the campaign trail, demands for a neutral and credible election are also growing among ordinary voters. During the July mass uprising, people from all walks of life took to the streets. From students and professionals to laborers and ordinary citizens, everyone voiced the same demand: an accountable system of governance and the protection of people's voting rights. People say that they want leadership that will create employment opportunities, keep commodity prices under control, and ensure freedom of expression. During the tenure of the fascist Awami League government, most voters were unable to go to polling stations. Now people are saying that they're eagerly waiting to cast their votes this time, hoping to play a role in building a democratic state by selecting deserving leadership through a neutral election. As the national parliamentary election draws nearer, voters' expectations are clear. They want an election where voting rights can be exercised without fear. The results are credible and the elected representatives truly speak for the people in Parliament. The month-long 30th Dhaka International Trade Fair DITF 2026 opened today, positioning itself as a more technology-driven, export-oriented and environmentally responsible platform than in previous years. A Commerce Advisor Sheikh Bashiruddin inaugurated the fair at the Bangladesh-China Friendship Exhibition Center in Purvachal. Speaking on the occasion, he said the 30th edition of the DITF marks a milestone in the history of the country's trade and commerce, describing the fair as more than a mere product exhibition. The trade fair is a platform showcasing Bangladesh's new initiatives, innovations and commercial development, he said. The Commerce Advisor said the fair strengthens the country's brand image and helps create a positive perception of Bangladesh in the global arena. As part of export promotion efforts, paper and packaging products have been declared as the Product of the Year 2026. A Commerce Secretary Mahbubur Rahman and a BCCI Administrator Mohammad Abdurrahman Khan spoke as special guests at the function. Export Promotion Bureau EPB Vice Chairman Mohammad Hassan Arif delivered the welcome address. The event was originally slated to begin January 1, but it was rescheduled to Saturday following the death of BNP Chairperson Begum Khalda Zia. Polyethylene bags and single-use plastic have been banned at this year's fair. Environment-friendly shopping bags will be supplied at reduced prices. For the first time, the fair has introduced an e-ticketing system enabling visitors to purchase tickets online and enter through QR code scanning alongside conventional on-site ticketing. The stall and pavilion location was also completed digitally, reflecting the organizers' push towards automation and transparency. Julia Square, a special themed area at the Dhaka International Trade Fair dedicated to commemorating the martyrs and injured of the July-August 2024 mass uprising. This year, DITF features 324 stalls and pavilions, including 11 foreign stalls and pavilions, allowing the event to be formally recognized as an international trade fair. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Sayyida Rizwan Hassan has said the upcoming election is being organized on the strength of a mass uprising. The defeated forces may attempt to create obstacles. The government will overcome them with the support of the people, she said. Rizwana made the remarks today while responding to a question at the inaugural ceremony of a training program on election time journalism at the Sylhet Press Club. The advisor said that since 2008, people have been deprived of exercising their voting rights. She mentioned that the forthcoming election is taking place in a context where voters will not only elect members of the parliament, but also determine how elected representatives can be held accountable. Urging journalists to play a strong role in raising public awareness about referendums and reforms, the advisor emphasized the media's responsibility during the electoral process. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Mahbooba Farjana attended the event as a special guest, while Press Institute of Bangladesh Director General Farooq Wasu presided over the program. People from all walks of life again thronged Jia Uddan today to pay their respects at the mausoleum of BNP chairperson and three-time Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Jia amid dense fog and biting cold. Alongside laying flowers, people recited the Holy Quran and offered prayers, seeking forgiveness for the departed soul. BNP leaders and activists also paid tribute by placing wreaths and offering prayers for the former Prime Minister. Among those present were BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi and Jatiyatawadi Mohila Dal President Afroza Abbas. Begum Khaleda Jia was laid to rest with full state honors on Wednesday afternoon beside the mausoleum of her late husband, Shahid President Ziaur Rahman. A cold condition have intensified across the country, including the port city of Chattogram. Biting cold and chilly winds are causing widespread hardship, with working people facing the greatest difficulties. Hospitals are reporting a rise in cold-related illnesses, including colds and coughs, respiratory problems, pneumonia, skin diseases, and diarrhea. Doctors said that this winter period is highly sensitive, and anyone can be affected by cold-related diseases. They also advise special care for children and the elderly to prevent illness and caution against taking any medication without consulting a physician. And now, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that the United States has carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro. In a post on Truth Social, Trump claimed Maduro and his wife had been captured and flown out of the country following the operation, which he said was conducted in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. The United States has carried out a strike inside Venezuela early on Saturday in a dramatic escalation that Venezuelans had feared for weeks. U.S. media outlets, including Fox News and CBC News, earlier reported that the United States carried out strikes on the South American country. In an initial statement, Maduro accused the United States of an extremely serious military aggression. Venezuela rejects, repudiates, and denounces before the international community the extremely serious military aggression perpetrated by the current government of the United States of America against Venezuela territory and people, Maduro's government said. Other countries are also reacting to the attack. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Indonesia, Jordan, Qatar, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates have expressed deep concern as the humanitarian situation in Gaza is steadily deteriorating. In a joint statement, the foreign ministers of these countries highlighted severe weather conditions, limited humanitarian access, and a serious shortage of essential supplies needed for daily life. The statement said that heavy rainfall, storms, and extreme cold have already made Gaza's fragile humanitarian situation even more critical. At the same time, delays in the entry of emergency supplies are severely hampering efforts to restore basic services and establish temporary shelters. The foreign minister warned that the existing shelters in Gaza are insufficient for the nearly 1.9 million displaced people. Moreover, flooded camps caused by flooding damaged tents, collapsed buildings, and extreme cold have made their lives even more unbearable. The statement also called on Israel to ensure that the United Nations and international non-governmental organizations can operate in Gaza and the West Bank in a sustainable, predictable, and uninterrupted manner. At the same time, it emphasized that any attempt to obstruct the activities of the United Nations and international NGOs is unacceptable.